Do you want to be called Jack or Cream Barbecue, by the way?
Whatever works for you. Whatever simply for you, Dakota.
Mr. Bog, we have our game underway, our draft underway. You'll always be Jack to me, buddy. And let's see how things are going to change up, especially for Team LFY. Now, how much of that drafting process do you think that it was LFY putting themselves into this drought early game, or was it just maybe the Broodmother was the wrench in the cog?
I think mostly the latter. If they get that drow as like a 5th pick with their final pick or something, I guess you go into that last pick, it's likely banned, but they felt like they had to pick the drow then, and then the problem is your opponents have 2 picks to counter it, and Brood is in the pool. I think it could have been fairly similar, like with the Legion. There were other heroes that could have pressured the drow as well. So perhaps you need to wait. If you want to do that drow pick, you need to wait to know your opposing team's offlaner first.
Maybe they just, with the lamp they already had. I mean, I think I called it, and if I could call it, maybe they could call it. So it's like they'll probably ban it if we don't take it now, and just got a little ahead of themselves. Yeah. Lesson learned possibly here as we move into our second game draft. Kunkka and Rasta are going to be banned out here for LFY. Will LGD get rid of that Earth Spirit? Actually, Earth Spirit first phase ban coming out here now, gentlemen.
It's going to be the first pick of this series if left in the pool, because LGD show they can at least play it to a decent level last game, and this time around LFY at first pick, so they're just saying, hey, look, we're gonna first pick it. LGD ban it out.
Wouldn't be shocked if it was DK. So I don't know. I feel like the game plan for LGD, like if they can get LFY to expose what they consider a premium core or a beefy core early on, then they can kind of counterpick it, and as you said, throw a wrench into that later. That's when they've had success against LFY. So I think it reminds me a little bit of a series I saw, it's unrelated, between Wings and Newbie way back in Genting. This is just totally random a couple months ago, where it was like, it felt like every game Wings was going to come out with like a kind of surprise core pick, because they felt a little bit, you know, in terms of their own, like how well they were playing, their own state, they felt a little bit less consistent and dependable, and they wanted to flip the script a little bit and switch things up. So yeah. I think LGD might have to come into this series with that philosophy a bit as well.
First, we'll get some old traditionals out of the way, if you will. LGD.Forever Young, step into a Night Stalker for that aggression. But then look at this pairing they get up. The AA and Faceless Void. Nice dynamic duo in itself.
A lot of really cool, interesting stuff going in the draft. I feel like we're kind of seeing a lot of a real metagame develop in this tournament. Often, I feel like in the group stages especially, it's like we get into the draft, first 2 picks, 2 bans happen. It's like, well, it's standard meta heroes, nothing much to say. But this time, like they banned the DK over the Death Prophet. Why do they swap out those bans? And the reason is because AA is in the pool. They see that LFY banned Shaman instead of AA. They know they can get the AA. And you don't really want to play the Death Prophet in AA, because that Spirit Siphon, the Exorcism Heal, completely taken away by the Ice Blast. And they know they're going to get a good hero to set up the Ice Blast in the Faceless Void. So LGD really showing a very clear, thought-out drafting process with the way they're banning as well as picking. They last game were banning out the Night Stalker. This time they banned the DK. They basically took out his 2 big heroes for their LFY strat through the way they're playing right now.
Just great synergy as, you know, Faceless Void, mouth only, no eyes. Ancient Apparition, eyes only, no mouth. So they can come together. Night Stalker's like, I have a vagina on my face. So, I mean, it could get worse. Oracle comes out as the second pick. And it's funny because you would think on one hand, like, oh, this, you know, he's picking Oracle into an AA, so all of his heal power could be taken away. But you do have Fate's Edict, which also could remove all potential of an Ice Blast, and they Faceless Void, Chrono, based on the outside, and suddenly he can do anything for the whole Chrono. So, you know, he's got a lot of fun little potential like that. I'm curious if they're going to rush forward into a Death Prophet regardless of the AA, just because now they have an Oracle too.
The bigger threat is actually LGD running Death Prophet, or maybe. It's not like a go-to or a staple of his, but they did do it in that game 1 yesterday against LFY. They've got the AA, so there's no counter-pick threat. It's very good with the Void. It's very good for kind of 5-man team fight type lineup. So I actually think LGD is the team that, if they're going to leave Death Prophet in the pool, I think it's more to pick it themselves, but who knows.
Oracle's another hero we've seen on the rise. Very powerful spells, but does have some mana issues, but he's been pretty good against these kind of lamps that want to burst down one or two heroes very early. I mean, oftentimes in Dota, just in general, regardless of the meta, you see that happening where like you want to focus fire. Obviously, that's the most efficient way to do it. Oracle has been a great answer to that. One hero that has great synergy with the Oracle that I'd be wary of perhaps this game might be something like the OD. So not only does that basically solve like the mana problems with the Oracle, but then you have two saves, one from a support and one from the core position against a hero like Void and AA, where they very much want to be bursting or comboing down within the Chronosphere or within the ults. And so if you become too ult dependent, playing against a lineup with multiple saves, you've got to be a little bit careful. I wonder if that's something that LFY will consider this game.
Well, the silencer as a potential counterpick to those saves is taken away, so those saves get all that more bit powerful when you can't actually global to deal with it. So you ban onto Inflame's Puck. He's been very proficient on this hero throughout the tournament, even when he's had games where he has a rough laning stage. He recovered fantastically well and has a very high impact on the mid game. So we'll see where these drafts do lead.
10 seconds remaining.
Could still get Inflame that maybe a Bat Rider again. They have the Oracle, so they don't have to worry about it. But I don't know how he fares against the other two already out there. If you won't commit too early for a Bat Rider.
Reserve time.
Tide also another offlane option that's still out there for him.
Yeah.
You've got our Saint King and Earthshaker in the pool too, so.
For Victoria, I think likely we'll see one of those heroes. I guess LFY have already picked up Afu's hero. Jack kind of mentions they typically just first pick it, or at least first two pick it. The Night Stalker is almost always run in his hands. It's actually banned out most of the time against them. But LGD decide they'd rather verse the Night Stalker than the Earth Spirit this game.
And if there's a Bat Rider consideration, there's still a Nyx left in the pool as well.
There we go. As suggested, they're a scarier team with this Death Prophet, with the Void now, and they have the last pick, but I don't think you need to save your mid for last if there's a clear mid that's going to pull your draft together in such a way as this Death Prophet really does.
And LGD.Forever Young say we won't hesitate too long on our mid either. We'll just grab up the Queen of Pain to be able to take on that Death Prophet in the laning phase.
It's decent. You always want burst damage against Death Prophet, which is something Quap at least does provide, but still...
So you can't always guarantee a Chrono lockdown on a Quap. She can blink out unless this Void happens to own a blink himself and can get the instant Chrono off, but Tusk offers a nice little 4 position who can roam around, make setups, and has some good defensive capabilities for the Death Prophet to keep her alive even longer, let's say.
Ooh la la.
But Elder Titan now comes out, suddenly, out of the great blue yonder.
This they play this hero both on Afu and on Inflame as the offlaner, and we've seen him go toe-to-toe. Kind of like a surprisingly strong offlane, the way he plays it with like treads and kind of can really trade hits and obviously like run the spirit through, and then you can really trade and go toe-to-toe with whoever else is off there in the safe lane. So interesting selection from them, and also gives them some counter initiation as well. So
it's going to make this Death Prophet a lot squishier just through the natural order. Take away some of that armor and magic resistance.
Dire team back.
I think LFY's last year has to be some high burst damage, or at least damage output coming from their carry role, coming from Monet's hero.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, are we super confident with LFY's like initiation and how to start a fight? Like, if Elder Titan is going to be the offlane, is Spirit Stomp good enough, or a flying in Night Stalker or anything like that?
It's not amazing for sure. They're likely going to at least have vision, because LGD is a team that's going to be like 5-manning down a lane with Exorcism, so they'll know how and where to engage. It's not like they're having to, the second they glimpse a hero, they're going to get like a small glimpse of a hero and have to like have a blink stun from like a Sand King right away. It's like, okay, here's the Death Prophet in plain sight. Can we actually kill her is more the question than can we initiate in some ways. And that's where I think the damage output is something they're going to desperately need. They could get an initiate out of the carry, like the Sven is always something that comes to mind a bit, that packs a punch and can also have some initiation potential.
Yeah, I like the Sven a lot. He offers that quick hit burst onto a Death Prophet, and he even gives the armor to himself and the team to be able to help shrug off the Death Prophet and her ulti a bit more.
It's either a Sven or they kind of forgo that kind of initiation altogether, and it's like a raid boss type of pusher, and then you kind of set the Oracle behind that and you have the counter initiatives. They do ban that, so
Clinks? Maybe? I don't know.
Seen a lot of Monet
I wonder if they
Slack.
go like a Medusa or something. I don't know if that'd be in
Medusa. Cold Feet like owns Medusa.
Yeah, Medusa versus lineup looks tough. Okay, there's interesting little pick. More the this is the LFY, you know, the bulk pick. They needed a hero that's going to be like the more 5-man oriented hero. It's not a slow-moving hero by any means, but it's something that is going to kind of really pull their draft together. And Lycan with Night Stalker becomes that much more powerful because of the constant nighttime with the Howl bonus.
Yeah, very evil Halloween theme we got going on for LFY. Queen of Pain, Lycan, and Night Stalker here.
Yeah,
But,
natural synergy. And then
yeah.
there you go. Like instead of something that maybe initiates its own, it's just like a very strong frontliner we've gone with. And
Nice thing for LGD is they saved their last pick for their carry role / offlane because this Void is flexible. You can carry, you can offlane. It meant they can now respond to this pick before deciding what to get. They're going to go with the Enigma. Put the Void in the carry lane, get an Enigma who can deny a lot of Monet's farm. And how are you canceling this black hole?
Boy. When he gets a BKB or like not even, you know, it's like he's going to be so hard to stop.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And the thing with like an Earth Splitter is it's not instant. You see him, he black holes and you want to throw an Earth Splitter, well, you got to wait 2 seconds or something before you even cancel that black hole. So it's not really an effective way to deal with a black hole. This is definitely a good Enigma game, and the team fight, Chronosphere Exorcism, black hole for LGD is very potent. The Ice Blast too, they are somewhat ulti dependent is perhaps the concern there, but...
It's like so many big ultis though, it's like maybe you'll always have one to use.
There you go, yeah.
But you could see a situation where there isn't that much wave clear, and it becomes a very difficult task to fight into the Death Prophet as she's taking objectives, so...
Is this looking again like a possible game where LGD just have put together a pretty strong draft? It doesn't feel as significantly strong as game number 1, but that Enigma can also kind of be a wrench in the cogs yet again if he does swell up to be a big problem and they have no way to deal with it. Same as what we were saying about the Brood.
I think I like the LGD draft again this game, and I feel like the Lycan, there's a lot of disruption for him, like in the form of the Tusk, whether it's the Snowball, whether it's the Walrus Punch, obviously the Malefice from the Enigma. Even without Black Hole, there's like a lot of ways to disrupt him during his old form, and the damage, and beyond that they don't really have the initiation, so they can't, it's going to be hard for them to really take fights on their terms unless it's a very like chaotic type of game. So I like LGD's draft here as well.
I'm going to back Jack's sentiments and side with LGD on this, as much as they do have some ulti dependence. They have some great control elsewhere. Having a Snowball with a Death Prophet can guarantee some save. If she gets gone and trying to be bursted, but she gets some Spirit Siphons out, you then Snowball. It's kind of like an effectively Yule Scepter in a way, where you're magic immune, you're still healing, and then you kind of come out and you get like a second win. So it's going to be very tricky to deal with this hero.
And there's the Hoppy coming out from Flame, a reference to their sponsor. In fact, the sponsor of all the major Chinese teams, Harbin Beer Company, also known as shortened to Hoppy in Chinese.
Happy. Let's get tanked.
Which is happy. Let's get happy together.
Let's get happy. Let's get drunk. But please ride safe.
Teams will say.
So they're actually using like English word for it, or is there a Chinese word that also means something?
The Chinese word is the longer is like Harbin Pijo, and it's just shortened to Hoppy. So it's just and happy, right? So
yeah. Okay. So
easy.
Nice. Nice. Here come LFY, In Flames, tanky frontline, Elder Titan. Not a hero you really want to mess with at level 1 with the Astral Spirit. They may just forgo this rune or try and send Ame in with a Time Walk.
We'll see though. Chilling Touch. Do some really deceptive damage, but okay, there are numbers there, so he jumps right away, claims that life back, but it's Yao who could be a bit out of position. Yeah, he gets hit pretty hard. They will score that bounty. 3 bounty runes.
Oh, it's 2 each actually.
2 each,
Top lane, somehow 11 picked it up. That's not the hero you expect to contest your bounty. You think Enigma, you're thinking, oh, he's going to sit back, hug his tower, deny a creep as early as possible. No, he's going aggressive early on. 11. He's going to have a full-on 1v1 lane. This could be quite alright for him, considering the range creep denies. Yep.
He did have that ward up there, so he was able to see that.
Monet, he's like, I'm just going to eat your creeps. 33 gold for that one. Thanks.
Yep. Just ran straight at it.
That is going to be an interesting lane to peep in on, that's for sure, because it feels like the Enigma is one of the big trump cards for their team, and kind of getting this kind of lane setup feels all too well. Feels almost too nice to have, so we'll have to see what LFY do about it, or if Monet's just got something up his sleeve.
He's getting bullied by this 11 Enigma. Like the Eidolon harass constantly coming out. He didn't have the poor man shield level 1 because of the bounty room being stolen. So he actually took a lot more damage than he was supposed to. Without that stout shield, you get crushed by Eidolons. Only now does he actually have it.
And A narrowly escaped getting first blood bottom as they got the Oracle Fortune's end off him, and then with Inflame running his spirit and punching him, it's very tough for him to show his face in lane with the Night Stalker there as well. This LFY tri-lane is interesting. They kind of do need levels, so I'm not sure how sustainable this is, but it's a very bullying tri-lane.
Yeah.
If they stay like this, then the Night Stalker obviously can have fewer levels when he hits that first night. The Oracle is also not going to have as many spells up, but they can really slow down the Void's farm here. I don't think there's a heck of a lot that LGD can do about it.
I'm just curious how much of a sacrifice it really is, because like you mentioned, they will be losing out on a lot of those extra levels that these heroes would love to have to bully even better. Afu will be able to snag in for that bounty rune, and they still have the one on their side of the river that he'll probably head up for as well. That means that now Oracle can return to the lane and make it just a two-person lane to split. That helps out a little bit. But for mid lane, 7 for your Queen of Pain, 9 at the moment for the Death Prophet here. So, a little neck and neck.
Somewhat even matchup, I'd say. Death Prophet with the Spirit Siphon can always be annoying for most mid laners to go head-to-head with, and maybe perhaps the better mechanical mid player here. See how things progress there, but without support movement, the supports are so tied to this bottom lane that it just feels like this is going to be a true 1v1, which is quite rare these days to see.
I mean, if I see Super take down maybe, and Super's using Quap, like that would be pretty impressive. Bottom lane though, a lot of moves onto Afu, but gets the bump out within the trees, and now the pressure is going to be on Victoria. They both end up swinging a bit. Victoria could end up going down. He eats the Fairy Fighter. He's getting some help though, as the Purifying Flames doesn't finish him off. It will now begin to heal him up. And on the other side, Inflame was able to walk himself out, so no blood will be shed yet.
Yep. Missed the Ice Shards there. It was kind of a wildly placed one somewhat. But
they changed it a little bit, right, recently?
I'm curious. It's easier to use, is supposedly, like to place and get. It's less wild with like where the shards end up with the blocks and stuff.
I actually haven't played him since the change, so I wouldn't know if someone who's used to the more difficult method would suddenly be thrown off if it was a lot easier. You
We're
know
seeing
what I mean?
a lot more consistency with bottom lane and block with the Ice Shards. This time it lands in. They'll get a first blood.
Yes, they will. Good grab. Yao actually picks that one up, and that's got to be concerning for LFY in their aggro lane that was hoping to shut down the Faceless Void. But look at this, an early pre-nighttime, like 5 seconds to nighttime kind of a gank coming out from Afu. But the Soul Siphon is there. They need a little bit more damage. They will get it. And now nighttime hits the land. And there'll be a DD rune waiting there for Afu, and he'll deedly-do his way all the way up and over to a bounty rune and possibly into some ganking action.
Yeah, this Enigma could be prone to this gank here. See how this plays out. Enigma is maybe going to walk towards him and scout it out. No, he doesn't.
Back right there for sure.
I think he's fine because again, these two are only level 2 at this point.
He circled it.
The Night Stalker is going to want his level 3. Obviously, the first night they just don't have the firepower for this. And Monet is doing pretty well in the last hits, doing a little bit of back and forth with the 11 Eidolons up there this whole time, trying to chase them down at times to get the last hits.
I've been watching lane quite a bit. I was just kind of interested how it's going down. It looks like Lycan's been outplaying 11 pretty hard. The Arcane Boots came way later than 11 wanted them. He had to be very conservative with his conversion usage because he didn't get a good time on the Arcane Boots. He couldn't actually spam the conversions, and Lycan was actually, farming most of those Eidolons, having a pretty good time and just kind of outplaying the Enigma with 11 unable to sometimes out-micro him.
Between the poor man's shield and the feral impulse for Monet, he's able to have quite a bit of sustain in lane.
Yes.
He doesn't have to worry about taking too much damage from the Eidolons. So he can actually, and then once he gets his boots, he outpaces them, so he can kind of hunt them down a little bit if they try to last hit in lane.
I think that was the big faux pas of 11 is he prioritized harassing too much early on when Lycan's just going to heal it off versus actually securing those last hits and just getting your items up.
Ooh, hard shots onto Inflame as he is the man left alone here in the bottom. Will be able to walk away from it, but you know, that's the thing is, while it's now established that the best thing going for LFY in the laning phase is going to be Monet in this top lane. The other lanes are suffering a little bit, and the LGD's cores are getting some decent farm here too. Seeing 34 and 15 now on our Death Prophet here, and look where the Quap is falling down to. Now a tussle over the rune nearby, and they begin to swing it out here. Siphon already onto Afu, but he wants to dance. Oh, snowball dodge of the Sonic Wave, but he's still in a lot of trouble. They will be able to burst her down. Afu tries to run out and will be able to step away. Yao trying to swing into action, almost going to lose his life, will end up being dropped, and this just all falls into wonderful place for LFY as they take 3.
Oh, and they even got the team shower going too.
Oh, I like that. When you just have a great fight and then you know you have to go back and hit the showers after a job well done. That's the best.
2 great rotations there. First, you saw DDC TPing to the shrine, which was closer to the fight to come help, and then also the offline rotation coming in from Inflame at a crucial time as well to kind of mop up the fight. And this is something that a difference in the offliners. AT can obviously be a little bit more active early on. He can just come in and punch people, use his spirit to contribute, whereas the Enigma, for the most part, is not going to want to rotate early. He's going to want to get up his itemization and be able to get to those black holes.
Hard move on the baby in the mid lane. Set up with the Oracle, but look at this time. It's LGD who have reinforcements. They will turn it around and take down Afu, but now jumping in is going to be Super. They needed just a bit more to get out maybe, but they couldn't do it. He turns around with the Crypt Swarm, can't quite get Super, and it's going to be Super who now baits in maybe to get into his death. Fighting in forward now is going to be Inflame. He needs one more punch and he will get it. On the other side, Yao will also get dropped. It's another wonderful trade for LFY.
Took another team shower. Oh, the other one's on cooldown. Sad times. But Yao just started forward trying to finish off this Oracle. Couldn't quite do it with a disarm coming out. And definitely the fact LFY just willing to commit more numbers on this mid lane, utilize this first nighttime to great effect is really paying off for them. Meanwhile, Enigma's just playing that farming mode. This is kind of what you picked the Enigma for, so you can't really fault 11 for anything he's doing. There was potential for him to TP in at the tier 1 tower and perhaps look to turn it around, but it's also unreliable. If you TP in, you don't get those kills, you've lost a lot of time where you could be farming. It's not your job to be a tempo control. It is your job as Enigma to farm up, get your Midas, Blink Dagger, BKB.
Yep.
We talk about some of the details that LGD really has to be careful. First, obviously, is the Inflamed Elder Titan, whose presence has been there for these fights. The other is the first night just ended, so they took those fights during nighttime with Howl up on the Lycan as well, and that just gives them that much more extra move. Obviously, double the
Chrono
damage,
bottom lane, kill on the
bonus.
Afu. Sorry, Jack, go on.
So you really have to be careful with it, because you know that your Enigma is not going to be there. He's not going to rotate to those fights, and then you know that there's a giant Howl bonus coming out as well, so you cannot take those skirmishes if you're LGD.
11's in trouble. Goes for the TP out, and will be able to make it.
Barely.
Good for him that Fortune's End does not cancel TPs. Just a simple route. Bottom lane, Inflame is in action now. Gets the stomp onto Ame, but he's fine by that. So Ame also picks up another kill in this bottom lane, by the way, and just continuing to truck through some good CS. So Faceless Void is coming together well. Enigma is developing forward. So while it's feeling like LFY are getting a lot of these trades by committing a lot more bodies into these fights, the big boy ultis and spells are going to be coming soon for LGD.
Oh yeah. First executions maybe soon, as this smoke top will run into DDC or possibly Monet. That's the bigger kill. He does not have ulti.
Neither does DDC to bail him out. Monet just gets slowly sucked up. Fate's Edict actually helps out with the magic a bit, but yeah, they end up spotting out where the Oracle is. They'll roll over and they'll just take them both out of this top lane.
So I feel like one of the toughest support traps you fall into. Like your carry gets ganked and he's dead, but you know you're a 5-position support. You're always willing to throw your life away for a support. Like if that's the support getting caught and the carry next to them, they'll always abandon the support. But supports you every single time. I feel like 9 times out of 10, that Oracle there is going to try and save the Lycan, even though he should just let him die.
Yeah, because I've seen plenty of plays where that support does manage to hand over their own life for the save of the core, and the core is able to make it away. So you're that 5, that's just part of your job.
He was beyond save, and he's got that 2-minute cooldown on the shapeshift at level 1, so there's no way he's going to have it back after kind of squandering it over for that kill.
You have to believe, Jack. Right? You just have to believe.
Well, Ame, he gets stunned despite the time war.
10 seconds, 15 seconds or so before Chrono was even going to be up if he wanted to have it defensively. Doesn't matter. He just gets assaulted in the bottom lane between the 3.
Really nice kill. They got him just before the time walk came back up, but he almost lives there. But will be a potential tower trade with no LGD heroes positioned at bottom to defend. They're going to take the top tier one as a kind of trade for that, although they did not want to see their Void getting picked off there. That does kind of set them back a little bit.
But with them taking down that top tier 1 and now pressuring this tier 2, does open up an easier path for LGD to kind of contest LFY's jungle and thus contest the farm of what Lycan could be up to.
Yep.
Here is Afu in the mid lane. Both these supports are trying to get level 6 going, and it looks like they're able to commit it with the Chrono. That cold feet will guarantee the double set of lockdown, but False Promise does come in from DDC. Will help bail him out. Can they get enough damage onto him? They guarantee the finish. Sonic Wave from behind. Super gets a beautiful setup, but now the Black Hole going to be committed onto the Wolf, and the Wolf just simply runs out of that space. Now a nice stomp setup from Inflame. They're going to run into action now. Ice Blast comes through the team, hits him where it hurts. The Crypt Swarm flies through them, and they could begin to crumble. Good turnaround play once again from LGD, but everyone badly beaten and bloody.
Ooh, Monet barely surviving on that Lycan with the Ice Blast on him. Are we thinking his lucky stars he didn't take an extra like 10, 20 points of damage, he would have shattered.
Like how many heroes ran away from that fight holding their sides? It just felt like 3 heroes on each team just limping away to try to get to the fountain.
It was a great time to get that level 6 on Yao's AA. As his ulti could not have come at a better time for LGD. It looked like that fight was about to swing LFY's way. A great counter initiation from Inflame. That Stomp Earth Splitter was fantastic.
It did take him a little. It just took him a little bit longer than they probably anticipated to get that Night Stalker down. A lot of credit to DDC rotating in, of course, with that False Promise. So at that point, it was a bit of an awkward situation where LGD, it's like, well, we got to make sure we get those few extra shots in so that he definitely dies. But then you're probably putting yourself in an awkward spot, and thus LFY find good opportunities to turn it around. Super coming in from behind with a pretty damn good Sonic Wave, but in both teams' case, they just were short a little bit in the damage department.
That's a big problem when the hero you chrono doesn't die, like we kind of saw there, and that really just sets you back as far as the whole fight is concerned.
Simultaneous action possibly. While they make a jump on the bottom lane, they are going to be able to get the grab onto the Tusk as Victoria does fall. Yao is able to make it out, but not so lucky for his fellow support friend.
Interesting here from Monet. After getting the first 2 points in Howl and Feral Impulse, he's opted to put every subsequent point into Wolves. So it looks like he wants that max Wolves early on. Maybe not so much to help with the bar, but just to keep an eye on LGD heroes. That's going to be really important if they can scout out, say, the Void, and especially the Enigma, kind of keep tabs on them and look at their positioning to see if there's an ult coming. So it's an interesting choice there, but at the same time, with the Night Stalker synergy, this is the second night, of course, with the Howl. He's going to miss out on a little bit of bonus damage.
Oh, just as Monet was trying to shape-shift into action, it's Ame who steps in with a double damage into Chronosphere to be able to take him down. Snowballing on forward, they will be able to get the finish. And now LGD are on the hunt here, looking for Afu, who is just flying his way through the trees. Will suddenly pop out and be able to make it away, but good gank rotation for LGD, and they get the core down.
That's the Chronos you're looking for. Kill the cores. Don't care if it's a solo Chrono, as long as you get a kill every time you use it. LGD find perhaps the biggest kill they could on the map. Also, not just going for the Max Wolves build, Jack, but going for a Vlad's Necro build. This is not the typical Lycan build we've been seeing. It's mostly been like that Mask of Madness Armlet BKB right-click build. Mid. He's silenced himself.
He's in trouble. He's trying to run. But, gets the time walk off, will avoid the Sonic Wave finish.
No black hole just yet, 5 seconds. So.
Yeah, 11 was stepping up, getting ready to slam his chest, but hit short of the cooldown, and oh my god, almost dies. The jump there from Super. LFY backs off, and nobody goes down in this mid lane trade.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice there from Monet, and it kind of hints at what they expect if this game goes a little bit longer, mid to late game. Again, they don't really get to start fights. So they're going to want to take the early Roshan. They want to be able to get this kind of push timing going where the early ult's impact is minimized a little bit because there's a little bit less timing on it. You get a little bit less damage done. The cooldowns are a bit longer. So maybe they think, hey, if we can survive these in between the cooldowns of these big ults, we can really take some objectives and try to win the game that way, instead of making this go long when we don't have a good reliable initiation.
Yeah. Their lineup actually falls off horribly in the late game, I feel. They have nothing to match it. Like, LGD late game, you've got Chronosphere and Black Hole. It's not even looking at like the carries and who's dealing out more damage, just how do you actually team fight into BKB Black Hole late game. Enigma's going to get to that point. He's got tons of farm. He's got Midas going. Void's going to have the Chronosphere. The Dire side, they just don't have the big ultis to match that late game of LGD. So definitely kind of agree they need to have this strong early game.
Maybe's out in front now with the Exorcism. They're looking to take a tier 1. Behind is Afu. Maybe could creep in with a behind the back silence to cancel a hold or something. Seems ambitious, but he's there as an option. But this is a slow takedown. Yeah, the daytime rolls out. The tier 1 goes down. Lift. LFY, are they going to be committing in for a defense? Super's creeping in, but he has no Sonic Wave on this one, and that's when Ame makes the move. Gets a nice chrono, follow up Ice Blast, Soul Siphon, and they guarantee the finish of the Oracle, so he can't even bail out anyone else. They'll also pick up Inflame, and LGD take this party right down mid lane.
Great position from Ame to find a time walk into Chronosphere, and then I think on the other side, LFY Oracle poor positioning.
Oh, and they're going to get Super also. They set it up with a Yules, and then they have a black hole waiting for them.
And the beauty of this is that there's no real pressure on LGD. Like, it's one of those situations where they can kind of just take one core kill at a time with the big ult. They can just totally back off and farm if they need to, keep the waves pushed, not lose too many towers. They've only dropped 1 tower so far, so there's no real like pressure on them either. It's not like they have to get huge plays with these ults, or they have to get. It's a little bit like the Magnus situation, where it's like you don't want Magnus to be in this position where he has to hit a 4-man RP for them to win a fight, but you can put him in a position where it's like, hey, I RP to core, core's dead, we can just back off, reset. Next time it comes up, we'll kill another core. They can do that. They just totally have options with this draft.
Well, we've seen, like, yeah, the Chrono solo kill on Lycan. We've now seen a Black Hole for a solo kill in a Queen of Pain. This most recent Chrono did catch 2 and was for a team fight plus a tower, but I think the general philosophy for LGD will be, as you say, just single hero ultis. That's fine, because you have the late game, because you can play at a slower pace. You don't have to take a ton of objectives and win the game early. You're freed up to be a lot less greedy with your ultimate usage. And for LFY, the pressure's really on. Like the Black Hole was used, Exorcism used recently. It really feels like, yeah, they got to go and make something happen. Radiant Scan spots them at the Roshan pit. Ice Blast, we'll see no one in there though. And now they know Ice Blast is on cooldown. May give them a bit of motivation to push further forward, but the problem is the scan still scattered them, so if LGD still kind of know what's going on.
LFY don't stop the chase though. They call out the darkness, and they'll take the time to go ahead and stop the ward. And look at that, they also ping out 11. They think about making it go onto it, but only if he was to continue walking that way. But again, 11 I'll just turn back that way.
I'll lose a tier 1 tower. I think this is fine for LGD. You give up. Oh, okay, this is less fine.
Yeah, they found Victoria, and he will go down. Nice little pick there.
Taking towers at nighttime when ultis are down. That is the name of the game for LFY. But most ultis starting to come back up. Just the Black Hole is missing for LGD.
I think also the book also wants to piggyback off of that Howl synergy with the Night Stalker, and they want to be able to form this like pushing force where if they do manage to win a fight or dodge some ults, they can just take down an entire lane very quickly.
Ooh, yep. Right by the pit. Chrono Ice Blast. False Promise, but
actually
he gets a lot of shots.
Oh, we can't heal False Promise?
No, definitely not now. There it goes. Oh my gosh. He's getting off the screen. Oh, a time lock's there. 11's trying to casually right-click him down, but Super just continues to walk and makes it to the shrine, and he's going to be good.
The Ice Blast wore off as the False Promise, like right before the False Promise proc, so he still got the False Promise heal, it looked like, slightly. I don't know how this AA plus Oracle interaction is a weird one. I'm not totally sure how that works. In theory, if you're meant to heal, it just means you'll just stay on a flat HP if you have Ice Blast on.
Yeah. If he was to just, PT to the Queen of Pain in that case, it would just be no healing but no damage either. Yeah. Oh, LGD. Looking to moves inside the pit with the Exorcism to try to finish off the roast, but that is when LFY run inside. Sonic Wave to blast the front door. Ame's going to be able to get the finish and claim up the Aegis here. Afu looking to run in, going for the finish onto 11, is able to get it. Looks like it will cost him his life. He gets hit with a cold feet, and he's frozen solid here. Exorcism is still out though, putting in some work. Good trap with the shards, and Inflame just charges through the Valley of Shadow of Death down into the grave. 1-for-2 trade, but the Roshan Aegis belong to LGD.
We keep taking these fights just needing one ultimate. That one's an Exorcism. The fight before is just a Chrono. Next fight they'll solve a Black Hole. It never really feels like LGD is required to use all 3 big ults to actually secure themselves a team fight. And that's while it was nighttime too. These fights are at least meant to go a little bit better for LFY, but the farm on some of their heroes is just not there. Monet with just treads Vlads is not all that scary as a Lycan. The Queen of Pain has the Veil, which is definitely kind of an okay point for her to be at, but as a whole this team is still just not really feeling all that scary.
It's almost a bad sign for LFY if LGD does use more than one ult. It means that you've been clumped together and they just pile on top of you. It's almost like, you know, that's the only situation in which they have to commit that much at the same time. So, LFY, I was wondering where I'd seen this lineup before, because at the Summit, I think the first game that BGJ played, they had a kind of similar lineup to this. It was a Lycan as well with FY and the Night Stalker. He had a very successful early game. I think they had a Quap mid as well, and they were picking up a bunch of kills, but then they kind of really just ran out of gas, and that kind of feels like what might happen with LFY also this game. It's certainly been steadily in that direction the last few minutes.
We're about to reach a point where this silence may not be as big of a deal. Even the Rod of Atos on Elder Titan can be countered. The Void is going to have a Manta style shortly. The Enigma going for a Greaves. They are recognizing that silence could be kind of pesky. Bottom lane, they get the Atos onto Super into a silence, but purged off by the Fortune's End.
Yep. And
oh, the snowball will reach it?
Yes, it will.
Oh,
TP's going to be canceled. An Ice Blast will even fly in and find connection.
Close.
So even if he blinks away, he slowly tickles down. It's about to conclude. They need a little bit more. He blinks down, and he is fine. He doesn't have a TP, though.
The Midnight Pulse chopped every tree except the tree that was hiding him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it was really the matter of one tree saved him twice over there, because Victoria was one tree away from giving him the fatal walrus punch to the face as well.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Ultimately, even though they don't get the kill, they didn't commit any ultimates. It's actually, well, they commit the Ice Blast, none of the big 3 ultimates, and they're still in a position to push forward at bottom lane. Likely we'll see 2 towers dropping here. Cop's gonna like show us up, be like, hey, by the way, guys, here I was. Haha.
That's the wave, maybe?
Yeah, that's like the best thing to do after you get like a juke like that, is just like walk out by a creep wave before you TP. Just be like, here I am, guys, I juked you.
She has to get back though, because she doesn't have a TP and she can't go to the shop to buy one.
Oh, she's been spotted. And
Ice Blast.
Who's laughing now? They snowball in, trap with the shards. She actually gets hit from that Ice Blast. Still only level 1 though. She's just going to walk herself all the way back and out. But look at Afu crossing paths with Ame. Hits him up with the silence, but does not want to follow up with anything else. But Ame does. Runs on in and catches the Night Stalker trying to fly over those trees. DDC walks forward and then changes his mind.
Okay, they're saving there. And that's a Chrono for a Night Stalker, but again, these kind of one hero ultimates don't really bother LGD. Any kind of numbers advance, they can still push, they can still fight. At no point do you want to fight into Exorcism, so as long as you've got that ultimate, LFY will be scared about engaging into LGD. They don't really have enough burst damage, it still feels, to pick this Death Prophet, despite it being the 3rd pick and LFY having 3 picks to respond to it. It feels like they got the Queen of Pain, the ET's like not bad, but the Lycan pick really struggles against this Death Prophet, even more so because of this Atos.
Rod, Ice Blast, Soul Siphon in flame. Getting sucked alive, the Fate's Edict will help him out though. LGD back off a bit, returning towards the pressure on the tier 2, or LFY going to commit a full defense here.
No Exorcism yet. Interesting that maybe he's holding it, not looking to just push with it.
This is Greaves, Black Hole, up and ready, Exorcism waiting. Surely LGD have a much stronger team fight here, plus they don't even have the Lycan. The Lycan's currently pushing mid lane. Imagine this. Would be a lot easier if they had Ame with a Chrono good to go. The initiation is just a little awkward at the moment.
We're relying more on this Atos, perhaps.
Yeah. And there's that Atos grab. Can they silence and lock down Super enough? No, he's going to be able to blink the other side. But look at Ame. He is just taking the Oracle out of this fight if possible. Afu shows himself within the trees nearby, but he continues to chase down DDC, actually forces out the false promise. So now that's going to be taken off the table. LGD seem to back off at this moment and finish off that tier 2. Afu will have to TP back indoors where it's safe. While that happens, you know, Lycan gets that tier 1 and gets the tier 2 in the mid lane.
Overall, a success for LFY.
Oh, but as LFY moves down the lane, They turn around with a rod and a black hole to get the finish onto Super, while Almay again zones out DDC from helping anyone out. So they get 2, and they get a 2-man chrono as a follow-up. Here comes an Ice Blast. Will find connection onto the Night Stalker as they finish off in Flame, or will they? Oh! Nice Void. Stops him in his place. Now it's going to be in Flame trying to help out his buddy, but he gets caught with the Yules, and now maybe he's like, I'll just take care of my boss, no problem.
Like the tier 3, which is a pretty big achievement for him, but the losses kind of hard to justify for LFY. They're still in a position where next team fight they could lose a Rax. The split push worked this time, but it's just not going to be a long-term road to success for them. It worked because LGD were like, well, we still got a tier 2, then a tier 3. Let's just take this fight. We know we're going to win it. And next time they're going to be like, well, we got to stop the split push because we haven't got a tier 3 anymore. So I do imagine LGD are going to be more prepared for the split push next time, although it was at least a decent move from Monet, considering his ability to teamfight is kind of non-existent right now.
Yeah, it's kind of the most he could have gotten out of it. He's probably telling his teammates, guys, just, keep them busy. Let's hold them off for a little bit, don't die, and I'll see what I can do here. I don't expect that to really work out to it, but then, yeah, once again, like, in terms of team fighting, there's so many ways to disrupt or cancel his shapeshift. He's not going to get BKB until his next item, which is probably not going to come until about 30 minutes or so. And even then, with like the Chronosphere and the Black Hole, if they absolutely need to hold him in place, they can. Walrus Punch as well, all going through BKB.
Did you see his pickup from Inflame? He's got Rod, he's going straight up Refresher next.
Rod of Atos, well, he went phase this game, but Rod of Atos Treads is a pretty frequent build for him on the off lane.
I haven't seen this Refresher before.
Jack?
Yeah, that's
not Refresher.
that's,
not Refresher.
That's what I'm saying,
that's
though.
the big question.
He's just like, okay, we're just going to 0 to 60 here.
Playing around the ultimate, he wants to he's kind of responsible for canceling the Enigma Black Hole, and I think they also realize, crap, these guys are coming at us, pushing the high ground soon. We are in trouble. He's going big. He's going for the big power late game play.
I like it. Shows cojones. I want to see double Earth Splitter in one fight.
The spirits, though, the extras, double spirit.
You can't get double spirit, can you? No, because you have to pull it back first, right? Yeah, you can't get double spirits, Jack.
Yeah, but spirits more frequently there, gods. More frequently spirits.
Yeah, his spirit just came back to him and it was 1 second away from being back up, guys. So I'm gonna I'm gonna shut this one down before we get carried away, Jack.
I tried to help you, Jack. I'm sorry. I tried.
Alright, well, we'll stick together from here on out. We are a team. Refresher Spirit, I love it.
Double Earth Splitter, though, that's the thing that we're in this for. Double Rod and double whatever else he wants to go
double
for.
Double Soul Ring, man.
Double Soul Ring, oh my goodness, of course. Here's LGD, though, actually looking to tickle their way into LFY's neighborhood. Fu is, get the hell off my lawn. Forces him back and across the river. Keep going here. Just a D-ward for now.
Eyes on Roche as the BKB, the first comes up for Enigma. Void's not far behind. That is worrisome now. Hey, the Earth Splitter is the solution for these, I guess.
Yeah, that is going to be the best thing they could ask for, but like you were talking about in the draft, it's just, you gotta wait that little bit of time before it actually happens. There's a whole process to the Earth Splitter. So there could be a decent amount of time for 11 to be able to get in a good black hole and a setup before the stun is even there. Or is it instant? Am I wrong there too?
With
Earth Splitter?
It's not instant, no.
Yeah,
no.
that's what I figured.
Yeah, the Earth Splitter's at the end.
Like some Chain Frost Lich thing where it's just an instant stun before the projectile even gets there. I wasn't sure.
Oh, it's 3.14 seconds of explode delay.
God.
So yeah, I was thinking it was like 2 seconds. It's even more than that. So
it's like 4 seconds of still black hole because he has to even react to it first. So I mean, it's fine, but that is very low on the totem pole of options.
Yeah. And black hole, well, it lasts 4 seconds. So you've got to preemptively, you've got to guess where he's going to black hole and preemptively Earth Splitter. And then if you guess wrong, you preemptively use your second one.
Maybe he's just like, everyone fight in the Earth Splitter, and I'll lay down 2 of them. It'll be a long enough fight. No. We'll have 8 seconds.
Yeah, that's definitely a window where you can fight around. I mean, that's kind of the plan, is like fight around that Earth Splitter area.
Oh, they found EDC, and they're happy to commit the chrono for it. Not even just the chrono. BM Ice Blast will also be there. No, I'm just kidding. To the high ground as they will try to shred through the tier 3 with this Exorcism. Lots of many spooky ghosts here are taking it on down, and there's going to be the buyback.
Oh, nice time dilation. Gets the Echo Storm.
Step back, and look at this, super creepy from behind. Gets some good work onto Victoria, but he is able to get the snowball off. Puts the chase onto Afu, who is trying to tickle them from behind. Well, now they make the jump on for Maybe, but Maybe is just standing strong, sucking away their life. They will finish off one Rax here. Still can't even get the takedown of Victoria. Finally, they will grab it. Super will be there to clean it up. Afu still, look at this, being a nuisance.
The Rat
creeping his way through the tree.
He's running mid.
Around and,
oh, we got the creep wave in top and then went for the backdoor mid on the melee barracks. Almost got it.
They're getting a hold of Maybe, possibly. Use the Yules to lock him in his place, even if it's going to cast on himself, but then he casts his own Yules, and now they're jumping from Ame, and the snowball. There goes the Earth Splitter, but then the follow-up Black Hole is going to be there, and it catches onto 4. DDC can only do so much to try to bail his team out of that one. Maybe still holding on strong. The false promise is there, but it's not going to be good enough. They take out 4. Woo! Holding on to the ultis for that one.
Actually, all things considered, I think LFY played that defense as well as possible. Once you lose that Oracle on your high ground, they can't defend their racks. They delay the push while Lycan almost backdoors the racks. He's got down to like 300 HP. If it wasn't for the buyback from Tusk, he may have actually taken the melee racks there. LGD do end up winning with a fantastic 11 Black Hole though. And LFY's chase does get slightly punished.
It became a really technical situation just now, right? Because like you have like the split pusher, and it's like he's saying like don't fight them, delay them, and then once they peel off from their own push mid to go back and deal with the split push, then he tells the team to go in basically and try to stop. So it almost worked out for LFY because they got the great Earth Splitters, they had Queen of Pain, like after killing Victoria, kind of slowing down the rest of the retreat.
Afu as well, like both Super and Afu were just there in the trees, just lurking at him as, like you said, they were peeling away from the push. They were just making it so incredibly difficult, making that space for the Lycan. But ultimately, all came together for one sweet hole. Yeah,
I really like the Afu's play, especially that fight. He just chipped away at the Tusk over and over again. Tusk eventually realizes, crap, his next time he comes in, he's going to kill me. Goes for a TP, but then Quap's there, finishes him off. Nightstalker's still in a position to cancel an AA TP or a Death Prophet TP back. He was just being incredibly pesky on the back lines. But ultimately, it is still LFY at such a disadvantage in terms of team fight and just lineup composition that they're unable to take a Rax while defending.
The difference there would have been the second super long range because they were trying to cancel.
Are they going to chrono for this? Right. Yes, they will. Ice Blast will also be there. See you later, Monet. Out for 50, no buyback.
The Rat is down.
Ay, 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 ay. I think they're feeling pretty good about this game.
That's when they're feeling like, oh yeah, this game's in the bag. And they know at no point have LFY been able to team fight them. The only threat has been the split push, and while you take out the major split pusher, Quap is going to go for the melee racks, but it's close. It's almost fully healed back up, so this is going to be a slow push. He's actually going to go for the range racks, realizing, yeah, he's unable to really get this one.
Forces back the single.
They TP the hero that doesn't have his ultimate. I kind of like that, although Void is also the majority of maybe the damage outside of Exorcism on the tower, so it could prevent the push from actually happening.
He's the Aegis carrier as well.
Yeah. They're not going to go high ground with Exorcism without him, which is fair enough. So LGD, not in a rush, you know. They've got 3 minutes on Aegis, they've got plenty of items to farm, they're really in the driver's seat here. The only thing that they can kind of lose to is going to be mistakes that they kind of are forced out from LFY or that split push, as we've seen.
Yeah, overcommit themselves into a crazy push where they're either distracted or left abandoned without any sort of way to TP back home. They could get caught from behind, but LGD are going to keep this one composed a bit. They take down the easy money in the shrine. One more still out there, but looks like they're not going to wait for that one. They're just going to come in from the south. Popping out the Exorcism, now applying the pressure onto LFY before they can even make it across the map. This Tier 3 is not set for this world. And now the Raxes are exposed. Chrono is about to be up, and you know that Black Hole is also going to be waiting on those back lines. And look who's coming in from behind, and they'll find where that Black Hole is. 11 is just tired of that pesky Afu and Super on the back and just deals with them.
Lycan's going for the back door, but I don't see this working too well.
2 buybacks are going to be there as they make their jump onto DDC. They will be able to finish him off, and like you talked about, Tier 3 down onto the top lane. He makes his move in for the racks, but still casualties falling. But look at this. Earth Splitter down the middle onto 11. Ame turning around looking to go for the chrono, but does he have the damage to do anything with this? He doesn't. He just gets stomped up and his first life gets taken away. While they did manage to TP back to their base, they will be able to get the grab onto Monet, take him out.
They're going to be chased for quite a while with the BKB. He may be fine here. He can always juke with a time walk now. Melee Rex taken by the Lycan, as well as another T3 tower. Not a bad claim for his efforts. Unfortunately, he didn't have his ultimate. He actually used it when it was still a level 2 ulti, so it had a very long cooldown. But does get some damage done. But you're still down 4 racks. Well, actually, no, just down 3 racks. You haven't got the range mid, but next push from LGD will probably secure Mega Creep, so you don't really want to be going up against those. And LFY still have plenty of work cut out for them.
Well, they had to expend some buybacks, but at this point, you're still only down 1 full lane, which is pretty similar to the position that they were in before. And you saw like the double burst for just doing work there. It's basically just shredded LG along that fight. So they got traded that for Aegis. They do have a bit of a window in which LG's ults are not up. Also, like old 11 bought back as well. So and then with the Ame BKB charge being used and Chrono down for a little bit, if they can find a window to take a fight here before these ults come back up, then this does become a bit more interesting game.
Problem is these lanes are all pushing out, so LGD may actually be able to go for that push with lanes pushed out fairly soon. Doesn't look like Void's going to be able to get there. He's back at base picking up some fresh items. AC to deal with the Elder Titan minus armor.
Yeah, there will not be a fight here before the ults finally come back up for LGD.
2-2 is just going to go down to the creep wave, and for LFY they need to recognize again when that push is coming, get the split push going. Perhaps Roshan will be more what LGD eye off, as they could just slow down the pace of this game. It still feels like at no point are LFY going to be able to team fight them. So if you just sit back, defend your lanes, you're still in a pretty sweet position.
Ooh, maybe going to go for the Yules. Woo! That bat can move fast.
Right. Maybe he was going for an ATOS, but just didn't get vision. Needed to get one of the two off. And Void at mid has a chrono. He's calling for an Ice Blast, I imagine.
Waja! Gets it.
No Oracle inside. Oh, Oracle's nearby? Okay.
How many shots? How much damage? Can he hit a shrine? Let's double the heal from that shrine. And he does the Yules. That's going to be all good there. DDC will pay the price for it, though. Super will live on, though, at its cost. And the rest of LGD are going to make their move up to the top lane. But now moving in is going to be Monet. Chomps at 11 a bit. 11 goes down the hole. Catches nothing. Zones out the creeps, though. But now the move has been made, and it's Ame wrecking face here.
Earth, maybe.
Yeah, maybe is going to get blasted while they lose Monet, but rushing in is going to be Ame. Now Ame, though, hit with the stomp. One more second on Refresher. Does Inflame want to use it here? He should use it if he wants to get back on cooldown right away. Ice Blast, though, flies down the mid lane.
I think he feels like they're defended now. They're not going to need to defend top lane with the Death Prophet dead.
Oh, uses it.
Okay.
They got the Rod onto 11. They're looking to go for the stomp. They're looking to go for the finish, but they've already made the jump onto Super. They hit him with the Walrus Punch, and they will be able to get 11 down. Yao also going to get dropped. They will be able to get the finish onto Super, and Ame says, I want to keep swinging here, but he gets blasted down.
He had plus 425 there from the Spirits.
Oh, baby. Plus 50 attack speed to go with it.
Boom. Punch him one more time. Nah, it's going to be DC getting it with the Purifying Flames. Holy moly. Everyone gets dropped from LGD. LFY scrapped together one hell of a defense.
Inflame, he's the real carry now. Holy cow, that was some insane ET play. Winning that man fight against the Void. I think Void was ready to time walk, but wasn't expecting the Purifying Flames as well as the ET right click to hit as hard as it did.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting to be taking about 600 damage to the face from Inflame.
Big shout out to older 11's Enigma, you know, whiffs the black hole, but has the grace to stick it out. That's, you know, some Enigmas, they're like, oh, that didn't happen, I'm canceling. No, he stuck it out for at least a good 2 seconds there. Definitely some respect for that.
As long as he already used his Greaves and all his other spells, He's going out like a champion here. All right, so a reset for LGD. They're going to have to find a new way to try to claw themselves inside. Starting from the basics once again, keeping the lanes pushed back forward across the river so the split push options aren't there for LFY. Is LFY going to be that much tougher now in the next defense from what they gained from that fight, or is this just kind of delaying things even further?
They will. I mean, there's still no BKB up on the Lycan, although he's closing in. Obviously, he's got the AC now, and then the Hex was just completed as well on the back of that fight. So
this Void has to be very careful about his initiations into Hex. Doesn't have a Lincoln's, can't BKB or Time Walk if you get hexed and into some kind of stun or disable.
And Inflame is jacked. He is so farmed.
Well, LGD doing their part to make the boss look good, I guess.
But it's LGD who do move inside the Roche Pit, looking to claim that extra life here. Quickly take out the Wolf. Send over the Sigil to scout things out. They see the book being in, the smoke already there for LFY. As the darkness is called out, LGD decide to back off a bit. See what their best approach to the situation is going to be. They'll wait out the book timing, I'd imagine, a bit. And how are we doing on these big boy cooldowns? It looks like everything is ready to play with. And it is will pop up. Don't mind if I do. Boink. This is what they call Mexican standoff sometimes.
Now the team won't fully commit to it. Ame's back in the pit. Radiant Sentry is... okay, there we go. Second one comes down now. And Hafu, daytime hits, no darkness available. This is not good for... I think LFY may have to give this up with it being daytime.
It looks like that call may have already been made. Hafu could try Cheese Antic here.
He's going to walk through a Sentry. Zero chance.
We'll see. We'll see. Oh, hi there! Yeah, you can't have that.
That's one of those, like, cross your fingers and just pray to the Gaben that there is no sentry. He probably figures there's a sub 1% chance of that working, but he's like, ah, why not? Let's go. Aegis and Cheese is a pretty big deal, and felt like if he could somehow get it away from them, he may be able to set his team up to take the win. He'll be back for the high ground defense is the bigger thing. His death does not hurt his team.
Yeah, no, he's second to the lowest on the net worth, and as you mentioned, has pretty low death time. Will be available if necessary. While, you know, you have your big boy cores here, even Shapeshift committed from putting in the bottom lane just to rush through that push as he flash farms his way to that BKB. He needs it. And even with a hard commitment on that, he might be spending his buyback money too, so.
With that double damage, he also just took down that tower through the back door.
And that's going to warrant the defense of LGD, obviously. So they'll pull off back towards that mid lane. I don't know if it was mentioned, but what was it that was able to burst down maybe in that previous fight so fast? Was it simply the Lycan face rush?
Quap, mostly it looked like. I think the Scream Sonic Wave did a lot. They just threw everything on it with the Astral Spirit, amping up some of the damage as well. It really looked like, though, the Death Prophet died a lot faster than I expected.
Veil, and as you mentioned, the natural order coming out from Inflame.
She's not the tankiest Death Prophet, only 2,000 HP. Like in terms of, she has defensive items, but not much in the way of actual HP. So, with the exception of the Atos, so that might be a factor in how quickly she can potentially be bursted down.
Yep. Here comes the LGD party, rotating all the way up and over now. Aegis in hand. They're looking to go swinging here.
Nice Void Illusion Rune able to push out that bottom lane a bit, so they're not worried about the split push should they go for the high ground play. To see how LFY defend. They can't try and initiate on Void because of the Aegis, so we'll see how Inflame looks to get value out of this Scythe of Vice pickup, because the ideal target is that Void. It may now become someone like the Death Prophet instead. Stop the Spirit Scythe in usage, for example.
Lycan shows himself pushing out in this bottom lane as LGD make their approach. And now is going to be the call of the Exorcism. Here comes our Lycan friend. Ame's there with a chrono, but maybe looking to hold on to it. kill his second life. He is able to get the time walk off away from the damage, drops down that chrono. They look to line up the shot. He managed to lock down in 2. Monet trying to fight through it here, gets the false promise early, but a black hole's there waiting for him as they look to tap the shrine. So they'll move in and try to clean him on out. They're only able to bring down EDC. Monet able to live on, but then pops there at the end from the benefit of that ice blast. So at this point, LGD will pull back and look to go for the racks. Here comes off Fu, but really can't offer any sort of defense. He just gets frozen on up. But on the other side, they will finally be able to bring down Ame and that first life of the Agents. Can they do it again? As he comes back, they have an Earth Splitter waiting for him, but he's got a BKB, and him and Maybe begin to go to work with 11 by side. Forcing them all back indoors, and it looks like that is going to force LFY to throw in the towel. It's going to be a 2-0 start of this grand final going LGD.
Very strong drafting. I really like how they protected themselves from the death prophet while then setting up a draft to pick the hero itself. Like that first 2 AA pick